The little bee just wanted to sunbathe on the beach, but it was almost drowned by the duck's sweat. It immediately flew over to confront the duck, but instead of apologizing, the duck blew the bee straight into a seashell. Then the duck even laughed, and used the bee's stinger to pop open a bottle cap like it was nothing. Luckily, the bee escaped just in time. It completely lost its patience. It pointed its stinger downward and dove at the duck. In an instant, it punched dozens of holes in the duck's straw. All it wanted was an apology, but the duck didn't reflect at all. It even trapped the bee inside a bottle again. After mocking the bee a few more times, the duck grabbed its inflatable float and jumped into the ocean to relax. Right then, the little bee realized the bottle was filled with soda, so it stirred the liquid with its stinger as hard as it could. The gas built up fast, and the bee was blasted straight out of the bottle. Spotting the duck relaxing on the water, it dove at him again, hoping to land a direct hit while he wasn't paying attention. But the duck reacted instantly. He dodged right before the bee struck. The bee had to come up with a new plan. Then it noticed the duck was floating on an inflatable raft, so it got an idea. It flew over and deflated the raft. The blast of escaping air launched the duck straight into a school of sharks. Terrified, the duck hurried to pump the raft back up, but of course the bee wasn't going to let him off that easily. It stabbed a huge hole in the raft. The duck quickly plugged it with his finger, but 1 second later, the bee came back and poked dozens more holes. The duck couldn't plug them all. His limbs were tied up in knots trying. Seeing this, the bee dove underwater and poked a hole from underneath the raft too. Then it pulled out one of the duck's feathers and used it to tease a sleeping shark. The shark woke up thrilled and lunged with its jaws wide open. Luckily, the duck leaped into the air at the last second and narrowly escaped. To save his own life, the duck sprinted toward the shore, but even then, a shark chomped onto the raft. The duck ran like crazy, not realizing the shark had already wedged the raft into a wooden post. Just as the duck wondered where the shark had gone, the bee set him up again and sent him right back toward the shark's mouth. Fortunately, the duck grabbed the post and escaped again, but unfortunately, he stumbled into another trap, surrounded by sharks. The duck tried blowing himself up like a float, but in the end, the duck still fell straight into a shark's mouth.